guys make sure you get over to Jake Rattlesnake's channel, RattlesnakeTV. Make sure that you become a subscriber over there. Support his work because it's critical work. And as a Sith Lord and training Lord Vader, my young apprentice, I feel that he has crossed the Rubicon and has been doing a wonderful job. He recently, in fact, did a debate on a major news channel against some feminist scum, and he absolutely took it to him.
Well, police chiefs warn that young men are being radicalized online into extreme misogyny by influencers like Andrew Tate, in the same way that terrorists draw in followers.
You know, it's really funny. Right at the intro of this fucking guy, this clown, I don't know who he is. The very first thing they do, of course, is draw a contrast between Andrew and terrorist. Instantly. So I knew the second I saw this, and this was the very first thing that came up, that this was going to be a wild interview. Because I knew that there's no way Jake's going to fucking put up with any of this.
So are influencers like Andrew Tate radicalizing young boys online? And could they even be to blame for rising violence against women?
Well, the writer and broadcaster Emma Webb says influencers like Andrew Tate are promoting misogyny, while the podcaster Jake Julius says boys need more masculine role models. Well, okay, Jake, let's have you put your case first.
Well, I think that the real problem you're looking at here, particularly with the UK, is that you have a feminized liberal culture that has imported a much more masculine culture with mass immigration of Islamic people. And these people have very pronounced ideas about gender roles, and these people don't believe that Timmy can become Tammy if he...
So shot across the bow immediately. Rattlesnake dives in and he says, well, maybe if we weren't all such a bunch of sissies, we wouldn't be having this problem, would we? Would we, Chuck? I don't know if that's his name, but I'm just going to call him Chuck. Would we, Chuck? Chuck, would we have an issue right now with the Muslims coming into the UK if we weren't all such wusses, Chuck?
Okay, well, Emma, Andrew Tate, lots of people have mentioned. I think even teachers are now warning against Andrew Tate in the classroom. How much influence do you think he has? And is he promoting misogyny in a way that could potentially encourage men and young boys to be violent against women?
Well, he is very popular, but actually I do agree with Jake. I think that we do have much bigger problems than Andrew Tate when it comes to people's attitudes towards women. The problem with Andrew Tate is that he is very popular, but he's also, I think, a very good role model for men. I don't think...
Now watch, ladies and gentlemen, as God smites this woman on live television as she deals with our friend Jake Rattlesnake.
Traditional male values in any way, and I don't, in many ways, that he is promoting the opposite of the kind of manners that we want young boys to have towards women.
Emma, I think your line is a bit inaudible, so we'll try and fix that.
Well, it's what happens. It's what happens. Jake did his little prayer before he went on. He said, God, give me the strength to destroy these feminist lunatics. And as he was there, as he was making his arguments and the counter argument came through, bam, audio issues, done. Too bad, so sad.
And should we turn back to Jake? Because the problem is... Andrew Tate,
I've seen some of it.
Jake, I've seen a lot of, clips of Andrew Tate, and I've watched some interviews with him, and he seems to almost be radicalizing himself. He seems to have gone from sort of promoting, men need to stand up for themselves and be strong partners to women, to actually women are property and women are of lesser value. Do you think that's fair to say that he's got more extreme in his position?
No, I don't. I think, first of all, you have to understand that a lot of what he does is on Twitter. It's comedy. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt. And if you actually listen to his interviews in more detail, you'll find that his views are actually much more nuanced than that. So maybe go and research it. But
now, if he had been contending with a man, I don't think those audio issues would have been there, because he would have jiggled the cord. And then, bam, he would have been right back in the game. Would have been right back in the game.
one of the things that Andrew
Jake,
Tate
I've actually
does
listened
not
to
promote,
him at length. I've actually listened to him at length.
Oh, well, you've strawmanned his position, so maybe listen again. But some of the
Here, hang on. Here we go.
so maybe listen again.
One more time. This was so brutal. Watch how pissed off this lady gets.
Listen to him at length. I've actually listened to him at length.
Oh, well, you've strawmanned his position, so maybe listen again. But
Well, you know, you're strawmanning his position, so maybe you should listen again.
some of the positions that he doesn't promote are things like crime, pornography, transgenderism, video games, male feminism, drinking, taking drugs, and also New Age spiritualism.
Whew. That's quite the laundry list, isn't it? So wait, you're saying that a guy who's against New Age spiritualism, men wasting all of their times on video games, men refusing to take care of their physical shape and health, men who are acting like basically soy boys, right? That's a problem. Really? Just puts the ball right back in their court, right? Really? That's a problem? Can you tell me why that's a problem? Well, because he doesn't kiss women's asses, does he? Does he, Jake? He doesn't really kiss women's asses, does he? It's very uncomfortable for us when men won't kiss our asses, isn't it? Isn't it, Jake? Isn't it very uncomfortable when they don't do that?
Some things that men are actually turning towards that are actually destructive.
Well, it could be argued that men turning towards forcing women to stay at home and be subjugated in domestic life is also fairly dangerous.
Oh, it could be argued that subjugating these women by allowing them to stay at home with their own children. With that, such subjugation. Just imagine telling Jake Rattlesnake, look at the look on his face too, Jake. Jake's like, oh, fuck, here we go. This fucking guy. This fucking asshole. You know that's what he's thinking. He's thinking this in his head. The second he heard, it could be argued that you're subjugating women by forcing them to not have to work all day and instead allowing them to stay at home with their kids is subjugation. You just, like, in Jake's mind, I already know how this went. The first thing he thought is, what a fucking asshole, right? Well, what a fucking asshole. What a stupid asshole. Guarantee it. First thought that went in this guy's head. What a dick this guy is.
Dangerous, perhaps more dangerous than video games.
It's more dangerous than video games. It's even more dangerous. They're going to stay at home with their children and love them, and their children are going to love them back. Why, that's like playing Skyrim, Jake Rattlesnake. This is even more dangerous than Skyrim. Styler for $5 says, got a dip. But what would be my time expenses from dating is applied to video games. Okay, these women are insane. A little bit. They're a little bit fucking insane. It could be argued. It could be argued that you are completely clueless in making straw man arguments, says Nick Brown. That's true.
Well, this is the thing that obviously you've been feminized by the feminism that is in the water that you drink and the air that you breathe, my friend. But
a little bit of Andrewism there. A little Andrewism coming out of old Jake's mouth, right? He says, it could be that you've been feminized, my friend, by the very water that you drank and the air that you breathe, which is all just feminist dogma.
The water that you drink and the air. Obviously, you've been feminized by the feminism that is in the water that you drink and the air that you breathe, my friend.
Well, obviously, you've been a bit feminized yourself, haven't you, sir? Now, he doesn't take kindly to this. I see that his big bushy eyebrow has been raised over one eye. He is quite upset by this turn of events. It's most upsetting. It's most upsetting. He's having an argument with Palpatine, and Palpatine said, "Well, my young one, once you have embraced the dark side, the feminism will be destroyed." Jake literally put over the half hood, just inner Palpatine coming out. "No, your feminism has no power here." Love it. Love it. Totally fucking wrecked him. If her posterior is uncomfortable, she should get some medical cream for that.
But this is the problem.
Look at
with
him.
feminism.
Look at him cope laughing.
They think
Look at him cope laughing.
that women are being subjugated when actually a lot of women would love to stay home. A lot of women would love to be stay-at-home mothers. And actually, it's one of the most difficult jobs that you can possibly do is raise people. So if you raise 3...
Okay, so we're going to refine a couple things to help out Jake Rattlesnake here. I think that the way that you can make this more appealing to women is by actually telling the truth about it, which is that being a stay-at-home mom's not that fucking hard. So we're going to give you the easy job. We're going to give you the easy job. You're going to be pampered. We're going to fucking take care of you. We're going to do and you get the easy job. You get the easy fucking job. Okay? How's that? You don't have to do any of this bullshit you don't want to do. Because it's not that hard. It's really, as, what is it, Bill Burr said, right? Any job you can do in your pajamas can't be that hard. Can't be that hard. It's not that hard. Really isn't. Now, he makes a good point. He says, I think that driving in the point, we need our best and brightest women at home raising the next generation of the best and brightest. That's what we need. Isn't that why women want to be teachers? So that they can teach, make you the best and brightest. Well, why wouldn't we want the best and brightest instead of slaving away in a cubicle somewhere to be at home raising their children and making those children? We want the best and brightest to be making them and raising them. That's the whole point. We don't want them wasted on a college degree. We don't want them wasted on these masculine pursuits when their feminine pursuits are far more important, even if they're not particularly difficult, right? So I think that that's an even better way to package it, honestly. But I thought he did a really good job here. The male interviewer was so offended he needed to go down to the local saloon to get his nails done and cool off. That's funny.
3 or 4 people and you're a mother, then you've done an amazing thing. But unfortunately, with messaging like this, the feminist messaging will actually denigrate motherhood. A lot of women won't feel subjugated, I'll tell you that much.
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances are they going to feel subjugated by not having to work and taking care of their kids, which is the primary edict in their maternal drive anyway.
It's hard to sort of understand how I've been feminized if I think that women have...
Look how mad he is. Oh, he's so mad. I don't know why you're calling me a girly man, Jake. I don't know why you're calling me a girly man.
role in the workplace. I don't quite see how that is more feminine. But should we turn back to Emma Webb? Let's
look at the cope. See, we just need to clip this so I can put it on the soundboard.
How that is more feminine.
I want to clip this little cope on live TV.
To sort of understand how I've been feminized if I think that women have a role in the workplace. I don't quite see how that is more feminine.
Well, but instead of allowing you to tell me how it's more feminine, we're gonna go ahead and move the conversation on. Okay, this is like the best cope on live TV ever. Best cope fucking ever. Someone needs to clip that. Needs to be part of our super chat model where he just says, I don't see how it's more feminized.
Can also be a problem because very often people are accused of sexism if they open a door for a woman or pull out a chair for a woman. But actually, I think restoring some of those traditional manners between men and...
She means my privileges. I really think you guys should stop calling it misogyny when a man stands up at a table when a woman walks in. When a man takes his hat off in front of a lady, when a man pulls a chair out, when a man opens her car door, when a man does chivalrous things. I really would prefer that you didn't say that. I'd like all the liberation, but I still want all the privileges too, guys, okay? I want the privileges that come with the liberation. I want him to pay for all the dates. I want him to open the car door. I want him to treat me like a pretty fucking princess. Okay, so can we just kind of back off on the misogyny? By the way, that's pure misandrous behavior. By the way, just letting you know.
Yes, I do think that Andrew Tate is not a good role model, but I think that we have a much, much bigger problem.
Now, the only way that Rattlesnake can fuck this up, there's still potential here for him to fuck this up. If he says, I agree with her, or she's right, or anything like that, he will have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory.
Problem on our hands.
Okay, and Jake, just to challenge you on these online influencers like Andrew Tate, I find that a lot of them are very outspoken about how people should be living their lives. So marriage and having children and...
Uh-oh, here comes the argument from Hypocrisy. Here it comes. The argument from Hypocrisy. I can just see her building it up right this second. Here we go. Argument from Hypocrisy. The only way that women know how to argue.
And looking after your family and working hard. But then you look at them and they're not really living their lives in that way. They're usually unmarried. They usually got lots of girlfriends. They're usually just flashing superficial things like a new car and whatever else. Not necessarily living by the standards that they set for other men.
Oh, boy. There it is. Every single fucking time. Right? Well, I'm not going to engage with the argument. I'm just going to tell you that I don't like how that person lives. They're not really living up to the standards that they're setting, are they? Okay, yeah, but what about the standards themselves that they are setting? Well... But what about the fact that they're not living up to them? It's just like, fuck you. It's a low-tier argument, and it's such low-tier thinking. It's such low-tier thinking. Yeah, the tu quo que. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tu quo que. You too. I think it translates to you too. It's the you too fallacy. But you do it too. Also you, so let me give you the analogy again. The argument from Hypocrisy is very simple. Tina says that you should go to the gym. Tina does not go to the gym. Therefore, Tina, any of her arguments about why you should go to the gym should be dismissed. Not only does that irrational and makes no fucking sense at all, but it is, in my opinion, the lowest form of argumentation, the lowest form of getting your thought pattern across. I'm not going to listen to your argument because I think that you don't live up to the ideals that you espouse. It's like, okay, but what about the ideas I espouse? Don't care, because you don't live up to them. And it's like that. That's not how you have rational discussions or dialogue. How could you even change what your ideals were that you failed to live up to if somebody can't even criticize them? They say you want to be treated like men, but if you listen to them, they don't. They only want the good shit of being a guy. Exactly. Just the good shit. It's exactly right. Omar Ramos, $5 says, adding to your point, just because stay-at-home mothers isn't a laboriously hard job, it doesn't mean it's not important or critical for society. Correct. It is a critical job. It's an actually critical job that is necessary. It's one of the most critical jobs, which is why you should glorify it. You should, when you see moms with their kids and their husband, right, out in public, you should always tip your hat. You should always be extra kind to them. You should always do everything you can to glorify that as the backbone of the society in which you want to live. And most people, I think, actually do. They do show respect towards that because it is a high status symbol, especially in modernity, to have a family. It's a very high status symbol.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very fair assessment. You'd have to tell me specific examples. If you're talking about Andrew Tate, I'm sure you're aware that he's converted to Islam, so he believes in the whole having 5 wives thing. I don't believe in that. But I think the more important issue here that our other guest, I'm so sorry I forgot your name, but just
Emma.
Raised is the fact that Emma, sorry, is that...
Wait, what's your name again? Hey, lady, what's your name? What'd you say your name was, lady? I don't remember. I don't remember all these broads' names. I can't be burdened with these trivialized details. Okay? Your name isn't relevant. I don't care what your name is. Okay? I'm only asking you because I guess it's good manners, but it's just like, it's very trivial, honestly, to the point of this conversation.
You guys have like a lot of mass migration happening, which is a big problem. And this is something that's not new, guys. Tommy Robinson was talking about this over a decade ago when he was saying that there are grooming gangs grooming young women in English towns, and the media and the police wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah, and there have been a number of inquiries into that now, and thankfully the problem is being addressed and much more spoken about in the mainstream, not least by our own Charlie Peters, who made a fantastic documentary on the grooming gang scandal, aired here on GB News. I'm afraid we've run to the end of that conversation, but Jake Julius and Emma Webb, thank you so much for your contributions. Really interesting stuff.
By the way, if you want to see mastery in how to dominate a conversation, Mr. Rattlesnake just did that. He hit all of the keys. He had a better presence than everybody else who was there. He didn't have to shout, and he made his points extremely concise and conveyed a lot of information very quickly. He was able to, without insulting, tell them that their facts are incorrect. He was able to even tell this gentleman that he's suffering from feminization, which is not an insult, but a matter of factual statement, and then basically ended that with, what? Come at me, bro. You think you're not feminized? Let's do it right now, right? The proverbial gauntlet thrown down. This guy wanted no part of that, and he moved the fucking conversation right along quickly, because secretly what he wanted to say was this. He wanted to be like, look, Jake, look, I want this fucking broad next to me to stay at home and not be in this studio. But I'm here because I got to collect a paycheck. You don't know shit, Jake. That's what he wanted to say, but he got fired from his network TV show, right? And look at Jake with his shit-eating grin. He knows what he did. He knows what he did. And he knows that he handled the entirety of this panel like it was nothing. He verbally dominated both of the hosts. The female on the panel ended up just agreeing with his points. Right? Complete and utter destruction from Mr. Rattlesnake. Well done, and that's how it's done. Join us over at thecrucible.video. Thecrucible.video, where you'll get all of the uncensored content, debates, chill streams, interviews, and more. It's all over there at thecrucible.video.